This business was founded by 3 guys, myself and my 2 partners, alright? And we managed to get an education group called Ace Adventure. Any of you heard of Ace Adventure before by any chance? It's an education group that has a number of schools, 3 months international school, 3 months international school, and a number of tuition centers, right? So one thing about the school, one thing about the education group is that we really believe in learning in a fun way. Okay, raise your hand if any of you by any chance took chemistry when you were in high school. Okay, stay on the air. Keep your hand on the air if you like chemistry. You see the hands start to drop, right? Because what happened is that, okay, you can put your hands down. One thing that we realized is that chemistry is one of the hardest subjects to understand because, okay, physics you can see the movement, alright? Biology you can see people being cut open, right? But can you see chemistry? Anyone can see chemistry? What is H2O? Okay, H2O is water, you can see, right? But what is H, hydrogen? Can you see? You can't see it, right? So one of the things that we try to do is basically we try to gamify chemistry, alright, and humanize it. That's what we're going to do, right? But what happens is that these couple of lessons that you guys can take back as well is that the video that you see, the content inside is basically content from last year. Alright, what happened is that we were about to launch, we couldn't launch it because the game is not good enough. Alright, and raise your hand if you play games. Yeah, that's great. So the thing about game, what hook you up is basically the fun element of it, right? One thing we realized is our game wasn't good enough. Alright, it was not fun enough and the art was not good. Right? This version is 2D. Right now our game that's gonna be launched in June is 3D. Alright, so the key lesson out of it is that if you want to do something, do it right. It's probably something you want to write down. Alright, a lot of people, instead of redoing the game, will decide to, you know what, halfway through already, just do it. Alright, so this is one of the nature, if any of you are interested in tech startup, especially in games, this one thing that you need to take note is that you gotta be fun and you do it right. Okay? Alright, one step back to how I started this. You'll be surprised that I'm actually not really a gamer. Alright? I'm not really a gamer. I don't really play PC games. I play PC games, I got headache. I play Dota and then I turn out to be this thing called feeder. Alright? And then I played L4D and I got headache after that. But I'm more just a mobile gamer, right? But what happened is that I believe in the vision of gamifying education. Alright, but despite the fact that I'm not a gamer and I do not much about gaming, I found my way to get into this, right? So when I met my business partners, the key thing that my business partners saw in me is like my ability to manage projects and my ability to get things done. Alright, so if there's anything that any takeout that you guys can take out of this is that if there's certain things that you guys want a dream job, because the topic of this entire project is about getting a dream job, right? If at a certain situation where you might not be ready for certain things, but if you want it bad enough, you gotta find a way to join it. This is the second takeout that you could get from this session. Alright, again, I'm not a gamer, but I ended up in game industry right now. Okay, so that's number 2. Any questions so far? I heard there's someone here who is interested in the game industry. Right? Okay. You can ask questions later on, alright? Cool. Moving on, I'll share a few another tech startup that I'm working on. Second is called UniDigest.com. I think you guys heard about UniDigest, right? From our first trainer, Kavita. So Kavita is actually my business partner. UniDigest is a portal that helps students to compare all university courses, how much it costs them, alright? What is the scholarship available? So I'm just going to go through it. These universities, alright, this list of courses, you can see when's the intake, you know, which month, how long is the duration, where is it, and how much it costs, and this is scholarship. So it's everything in one place, alright? And the lesson behind this is pretty interesting as well. How many of you think, all of you met Kavita before, right? How many of you think that Kavita is a good trainer? Raise your hand. Let's take pictures. Okay. Anyway, to me, Kavita is one really good trainer, right? So about 1.5 years ago, all right, we met up. All right, I said, Kavita, look, let's start a training business. right? So that's why we go out to training, right? At the same time, I was with another business partner where we were talking about starting an art outsourcing studio. Art outsourcing means, because I'm actually doing games, right? And I know a lot of artists, right? And there are friends who ask me, hey, can you help me and get your artist to draw something for me? Then I was like thinking, hey, you know, like it's another business idea, right? Why not just set up an art outsourcing? Anyone who wants to get art done can come to me, I get artists for you, right? So that business was trying to kick off for about 6 months, but never kicked off. Alright, the training industry is not an easy industry, especially the fact that we target young people, right? And then where when it comes to targeting young people, we need to get corporate to help to sponsor us, right? The art industry turned out to be not so, not many people looking for artists, they are looking for more designers to design posters. They come to me for posters, you know. So anyway, we tried, we hustled through, and we met with an old friend, alright, who is trying to do this. Alright, it's a university comparison, but they couldn't produce it because it's an idea guide. So we decided to merge together. And then we were running two businesses at the same time, which is this business, alright, and also the training business. Then eventually, after 6 months, we realized that this has more potential, okay, and then we stick to this one. Alright. The lesson here is something that I never realized about this lesson as well until my business partner bring it up to me. When you want to do something, right, and if you wait for it to be perfect, you'll be old by then. Alright, so if any of you wants to do anything, getting a dream job or starting a business, first thing first, just do it. Just do it. Alright, you want to get a certain job, just prepare a resume and send in a resume. Alright, let's do some exercise here. Any of you thought of, say, starting your own business? Any of you? Alright, so if you have a challenge, you thought of starting a business right now, I say, hey, you should start a business today. What would be your first reason not to? Right? Nothing, no good. I like that. How about you? If you start your own business, what are key challenges that you face?
The right information.
Right information.
The right people to communicate with.
Right people to communicate with, right?
And the money, the capital need to start up.
The capital need to start up, right? Who else was you, right? Yeah, what would be the key challenges that you can solve this? Okay. Here is one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned in my life. I was 20 something, 21, 22, you know, go for a networking event, you know, like, oh yeah, so I've sent people out to be an entrepreneur, you know. Oh, okay, so why would you start? I say, oh, we need money, right? And this is what the guy said to me. Oh, you need money? Okay, I have 100,000 right now. Give me an idea. I got stuck. And that is when one of the biggest lessons in my life is that very often in life we say we want to do something and we will have a list of excuses, a list of reasons why we can't start something. Or in my case is starting business, the reason I can't do it is because I need money. Alright, but then the guy gave me one of the biggest lessons where now I have 100,000, tell me what you do. Can you do it? Can you start tomorrow? I was like, okay, that was an excuse. Alright, by the way, this is just an example. Alright, it could be applied to getting a dream job, for example, right? Doing something that you want. For example, getting a job. One of the things that people always say is that, yeah, I want to get into that company, but I do not know how to. You know? My first question would be, have you even checked out their website? Alright, so that is there's a bit of lessons on something I learned from my journey in entrepreneurship. Alright? Okay, so there's a bit of introduction of what I do. Okay, and I understand that today we are focusing on sales and marketing. Alright, so I'll tie it back as much as possible to sales and marketing, and I'll give more time for you guys to ask me questions. Alright, so first thing first, let's talk about the game business. Alright, the game business. Raise your hand if you are interested to buy the game after seeing the video. Any of you? Maybe you would. Okay. So the thing about the game that is being shown, right? it is actually designed for children aged 10 to 14 years old. Okay, 10 to 14 years old, right? The thing about 10 to 14 years old, do they have money? They don't have money, right? And again, when it comes to 10 to 14 years old, all right, when it comes to parents will give them tablets, all right, but parents will control how much time they'll take. All right. So one of the things so the question is that if you are the person who is marketing this game, all right, who would you target, the kids or the parents? Parents. Anyone say kids? You go for both. Well done. What's the name? Sorry? Amala. All right. So here's the thing. Lesson number 1. You can write it. You got to write this down in kind of sales and marketing in the project that you guys are working on. In the first place, when you come out with a product, you've got to know who is your target audience, or rather your target market. All right. That's number 1. And when you say target market, right, you've got to be as specific as possible. All right. Don't say that it's all the females in Malaysia. I can tell you, I've heard a lot. You say all females in Malaysia. No, that's not right. All right. So when you actually want to start marketing, identify your target market. Alright, in our case, alright, we are going to target both kids and parents. But when I say kids, it's 10 to 14 years old. Alright, and currently our preference is those who study in private or international schools, because most likely they will have tablets. So not any 10 to 14 years old, but it's 10 to 14 years old in private and international schools. Alright, and the parents wise is the same. Okay. So again, after knowing the target market, you got to know, you got to understand that how to actually sales or market to this group of people. Alright. So this one is actually a step before target market. I missed a step here. When you come up with a product, right, a lot of people come up with a product because it's a cool factor, right? But you got to understand your product needs to have either one of these two. Alright. And if this product doesn't have these two, your product most likely will sell. One is that what is the problem that your product is solving? What is the problem that your product is solving? Alright. Number 2, if it's not solving anything, alright, you've got to play with human emotion. Why would they want this? Alright, so let me give you an example, right? Let's talk about coffee. Alright, coffee. What is the problem that coffee is solving? It keeps people awake, for example, right? So when you sell coffee, all right, you got to sell like, okay, this product solves a problem, right? So there's coffee. So why do people buy Starbucks? Do you need Starbucks in particular? 15 ringgit, 15 ringgit worth of coffee to stay awake? Do you need it? Or why do? Huh? Sorry, you don't need. So it doesn't solve. So it's not the first one, right? But it has a second reason. Which is it creates a reason for you to want it. It creates a reason for you to need it. Alright. So the thing about Starbucks is that if you read up about Starbucks, right, they will say that, oh, we are not selling coffee, we are selling lifestyle. Yeah, I mean, so like it's cool to carry a Starbucks cup, for example, right? And when talking about selling lifestyle, is that if you read about Starbucks, when you enter Starbucks, the entire store is designed in such a way where you can actually smell the coffee. Alright. In the US, I'm not sure in Malaysia. In the US, the music playlist you cannot find anywhere else because it's customized by Starbucks people. Alright? And the couch, sitting on a Starbucks, doing your work, looking at people pass by, people look at you. That is what you're doing inside. So now, in your respective team, right, when you come out with that product, you got to have a clear reason of what problem is solving and why people need it. Then it will help you. So let me use technology as an example, right? So the UniDigest.com, I think for the chemistry game it's quite straightforward, right? What we are trying to solve is that making children interested in chemistry. Alright, because for many of us, I think we started to learn chemistry when we were like 15 in Form 4. Alright, but this game is designed for 10 to 14 years old because it's fun and we want to create interest in chemistry so that when they reach the age to learn chemistry, they'll be ready for it. So that is the problem that we're trying to solve, right? Because a lot of kids don't like chemistry. UniDigest.com is very straightforward. There are two sides of things, okay? The student side. we have met a lot of students who do not know what to study. Alright, and the moment they finish Form 5, GG. What is matriculation? What is STPM? Oh my god, what's the difference between these two? What's the difference? Okay, they still got A level, then what is O level? Nothing to do with A level, but they got confused, you know, like CPU, etc., right? So what we're trying to solve here is very simple. We help young people who have just graduated from Form 5 to know what are the courses, course types available out there, and what are the university sites out there. Alright, and then make the best decision out of it. That's the problem that we're trying to solve. So there's a student side. Actually, any of you wonder how we should make money from UniDigest? You wonder? Yeah. You wonder? Because we're helping people, right? By the end of the day, you need to make money, right? Wonder how? From the colleges, bingo. So what happened is that when we help students, we get students to apply to us. Basically, we help students to apply. When we go to universities, we make money from the universities. Alright, so what are the problems that we're solving on the other side is that, hey, universities need numbers. Right? They want as many students as possible to sign up in their universities, right? So we are actually solving a problem, which is actually helping them to get numbers, right? But this leads to another lesson that I've learned recently as well. This is again linked to sales and marketing, right? Number one, when you are selling something, or after you knowing the problems that you're solving, right? Come up with a very simple way to explain your business. Alright, I tell you, we went to university, and then being a tech startup, right? Then we want to explain the technical side of things. You know, like, yeah, we are tech portals, blah blah blah. And there have been a few times where they wanted to pass to us. We were approaching the recruitment department, right? They wanted to pass to us the digital department because anything digital got to go to the digital department, right? And I said, no, I'm recruiting students for you. Yeah, but still, you know, you need to go there. Until I said, we want to be your recruitment agent. Oh, agent it is. Oh, okay, let's stop. So where sales and marketing is concerned, we're trying to sell a product, right? Make it designed in such a way that it's very easy for people to understand. Alright? iPhone, they didn't sell, they didn't tell, when iPhone come out, Steve Jobs call it iPhone and then tell people, it's a phone. You know, even though it's different from the Nokia 3210. Alright? But it's still a phone. So it's a phone, but you communicate it's a phone, but what makes this phone different from this phone is pa. He doesn't come up with all new ways of communicating that. But iPad is a different story, huh? There's another story to that. Any questions so far when it comes to communicating what you're doing? This is one of the biggest things, very important when it comes to sales marketing. Great. Okay. Just now I spotted, I quickly hear some team names. Can I know what's the name of this team? Sorry? Tapao. Tapao. Okay, this one? Huh? Face design. Alright, this good? Sorry? Future retro. This one? What? Huh? That one is the team name or the project name? Project name. Oh, sorry, let me rephrase my question. Project name means, does it mean your product name? Brand. I have a bit of idea of what you guys are doing. Something to do with face, something to do with... Oh, face design. I don't know what you're doing. What's the feeling again? I got feeling that it's something to do with food and maybe delivery services. Alright? I guess I'm goreng. Nice. Do you guys know where I'm going with this? Come is something that people will get it and you can relate to your business as fast as possible. Alright, so UniDigest is a place where they digest. You know what is digest? Or some email digest, you know, you get compilation of things. This is where the name of UniDigest comes about, right? So when you come with one of the steps is if you come sales marketing as well, whether it's tech industry or other industry, is the naming of it. Alright, and try to avoid funny spelling. You know, I've heard some funny spelling with Z inside, you know, with some funny spelling that when you go for business meeting, right, or when you talk to people, hi, which company are you from? This and this, you know, like, okay, how do you spell it? The reason why, okay, this relates a lot to the tech industry, right? The reason why your name need to be easy for people to remember is when people want to find you, they'll try to Google for you. How many of you Google for things when you forget about something or want to find out something? Can you Google for something when you can't actually pronounce the name of the product that you're trying to find? You can't. Alright? So one of the lessons that for you guys, if you guys want to venture into not necessarily tech business, but using technology for your business, step one, naming got to be right. Right? Tapao King, I assume the Tapao is D-A-B-A-O. Or even Tapao. Oh yeah, there's a word. Alright, there's a normal direct spelling, right? Wait, so what's the name again? F-A-Y-E. F-A-Y. Okay. It takes me 3 times, but now I'm going to ask you to spell it, right? So gorengan straightforward. But remember, must have something unique because if you Google gorengan, there'll be a lot of gorengan here, okay? So there is a little bit about sales and marketing when tech industry is concerned. Okay. One last thing is that any of you interested to find out about how you can actually market through Facebook or Twitter or Google? Alright, great. Okay, so I'll share with you in as simple format as possible. Okay, raise your hand if you're thinking of creating your own fan page. Facebook fan page. Okay, alright. Creating your own Twitter account. Really have, right? Okay. Here's the thing. Are you going to have a website for whatever project you're working on? No website, right? You also got a website, right? Okay, alright. Here's the thing. If you guys have a website, alright, number one thing you guys need to focus on is bringing traffic to your website. Bringing traffic as in user, not car traffic. Traffic to your website, alright? What happens is that a lot of people make this mistake. Website is where your product is, right? But a lot of people spend so much time on Facebook fan page, alright, that if I ask them, so what does all this thing mean to your business? Any increased traffic to your website? The answer is no. Alright, a lot of people are being carried away by going viral, so they will start posting funny. You guys will see this. A Facebook that talk about something, but they'll be talking about something else, right? Their focus is to get as many likes as possible. Correct, huh? As many likes as possible, right? My question is that, does that like mean anything? Does 1 like means 1 ringgit? No. So for this group that you have, if you have a website, your goal when it comes to building a fan page is actually to direct traffic to the website. And one of the tricks that actually I'm sharing my team as well is that actually, by the way, we still learn along the way and we still make mistakes along the way, right? I told you, one of the tricks when you have a website, right? Anything that you do, let's say you're writing a blog post, you're writing a content, for example, right? Make sure the content is on the website. Then you share the link of that content to wherever you want. So when you post on your Facebook profile, for example, or your Twitter, right? It's a link to your website. So if you have people interested in your content, they'll click on the content. But instead of going to your Facebook fan page, they will go to your website. Alright, of course when you write the content at the bottom, you must write again about what your business is all about. Let me give you guys an example. But before this, okay, you guys, okay, let me give you guys an example, right? How many of you took moral subject for the SPM? And okay, I didn't take moral because again I'm doing it. I heard that it's all about remembering nilai. Look at your face, right? Okay. So here's the thing. One of the marketing strategies that UniDigest do. Okay. UniDigest. Okay. Again, let's practice what we have learned, right? Who is the target audience of UniDigest? SPM leavers, right? SPM leavers, right? So you know your target audience very clear, right? What is SPM leavers worrying about right now? What are they worrying
what to do.
Not yet money. Not about future yet, we found out. SPM lah. SPM. Yeah, right. So there's SPM levers. I know SPM levers, and by SPM levers they are right now in 4.5, isn't it? So before they leave is 4.5 and they're worried about SPM. So one of our marketing strategy is to create an SPM guide, post it on our website, but before you can download it, you gotta leave your email address. Alright, again, so this boils down to after knowing your target audience, learning about them, you know what to do there. Alright, but here's the thing, here's the trick. When it comes to technology and social media, you got to learn along the way. Alright, one thing that we are still questioning is that do Form 5 students really use email address? Or rather, do they really check their email address? Do you check when you guys were in Form 5? Damn it. So this is one of the things that we are already worrying about right now, you know. But one thing we know is that we are trying to kill two birds with one stone: traffic to our website and get email. But if the email doesn't work, let's say we get the emails, but they're not checking emails, at least we know that they keep coming to our website to download for tips. Right? And make sure at the bottom, UniDigest.com is a university comparison portal that helps you to find universities and courses. You know, even in SPM guide, the PDF, at the bottom there will be a banner to tell you guys what about you, to tell them what UniDigest is all about. Right? So this is much good. Alright? One of the strategies that we can use. Anyway, back to the model, the 36 nilai, right? So we are creating a blog post here. Raise your hand if you like all those GIF animations, like funny things. Oh, okay. How many of you like to go to 9gag or 9gag TV? Memes and all, right? Alright. I still don't get it. Okay, probably because I'm Asian or something. Okay, but we know that a lot of young people like 9gags, right? So we start creating 9gag content on our UniDigest. There's one small section at the bottom just for fun. Right? So we start thinking of like what kind of content that you guys would like, but at the same time, again, link back to my business. Alright, again, remember I talked about keep linking back to your business. So we thought about, okay, why not? We saw this article online talking about the 7 annoying things that my friends do, right? So we produce our own content. So for example, in high school, is it annoying if you have a classmate who remind a teacher, hey teacher, yesterday you gave a homework? Not right? So we thought of things like, any of you have this kind of teacher where I ask a question, never answer, right? So the teacher will be like, I'll wait. Anyone got that kind of teacher? Okay, so we produce a list of funny content that can relate to our target audience, which is for 5 students. Alright, so we call it 7 annoying habits, 7 annoying things that high school students will understand. Alright, the 7th one is having to memorize 36 nilai. And right after that 7th point, download the SPM tip for moral subject.
Wow.
Right. So here's the thing, so here's the thing. The thing is, why am I sharing these things? Because very often, when we come out with our website strategy or Facebook strategy, I just share, make conversation out of it. But you got to understand of why you do that and how it links back to your business. Alright, always link back to your business. So I talked about website already. So let's go to Facebook, whereby this time around, since you don't have a website, Facebook will be your main store. Right? Make sure you have one album that's focusing on your product. For example, say goreng, right? So let's say you sell tell me pisang goreng, tahu goreng, cempedak, and all those things. So you say you have a set of 5 products. Make sure you have one photo album specifically to talk with the photos of all this. It's gonna be so delicious that I'll give you a call. Alright? And again, because it's a tool for you to sell, make sure that every picture has a phone number. Otherwise I cannot contact you. Okay? And again, why are you going online for goreng? It will only make sense if you deliver. If you're opening a store, it does make sense in terms of bringing people to your store. So put your address there. The best pisang goreng in CTDI, for example, and put some address there. So again, when you do all this online strategy, alright, it goes back to the fact that you need to sell. Alright, people talking about it, how many people share it, how many people comment it, doesn't mean anything to your business or whatever you're doing if you can't generate sales out of it. Okay, so I talked about Facebook. Any question for Facebook? No? From Facebook or to Facebook? Two? Okay, so for their case it's slightly different. But your case, if Facebook is your main store or wherever you put the things, right? Then you need to direct traffic there because that's where people get to know about what you're doing. But if Facebook is main business. Yeah. Sorry, again? Okay, here's the thing, right? Her question is that description of do we need to put description of what goes into the food, right? Okay, you say highly main dish or talking about ingredients inside the dish? Okay, question. When you guys buy food, right? How many of you really care about what's the ingredients inside? Okay. How many of you will buy the food as long as you know it's healthy? Don't care what's inside as long as it's healthy. Okay. You see, this is one of the way for you to find out what you need to do. All right. If most people really care and really read, I wonder if you guys really read what's the ingredient in Milo, then you buy it, then you put it in. But based on my experience, generally, when it comes to sales and marketing, you don't tell people what is inside, but tell people what is the benefit. So for example, right, when it comes to food, right, you don't tell them what's the ingredients inside, but you tell them what does this food mean to them. It's healthier, it's fat-free, etc., etc. Alright, go to the supermarket, pick up all those packaging, and see how they promote it. You learn from that. So you sell benefit, you don't sell what's inside. So for example, right, Samsung, what are they selling? They are selling straight hair, they are selling beautiful hair. Alright, so here's the thing. So when you come out and product, you need to know what you're selling. Alright, you're selling snack that fill your hunger, for example. So think about it, okay? Okay, I think I took up about half an hour already. Where was I? So we're done on Facebook, Twitter. Who wanted to open the Twitter account? You guys open already, is it? Huh?
So I do have one.
You do have one.
But it's not Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, and then the same thing that I shared about the website, the content must be content that's related to your business. So if your food, and I'm assuming your food say is talking about health, say health food, right? Then your content got to be health related. Alright, things like this is what happens if people eat Indomie every single day. How many of you will click on that? You will. Okay. Okay. Anyway, so you think of something that your target audience would be interested to click on, right? And usually, funny things people click on, and scary things people click on. But make sure don't purposely scare people. So you gotta be scared, right? So if you're related to health and all, then you talk about health, but not in a boring way. Talk about fun with things that people actually click on. Alright, it depends on target audience as well. If you're targeting, assuming that you're selling a product to, who are you selling a product to? Your partner? Officers, right? Then, okay, officers, then it's different with targeting younger crowd. Officers are all about health, you scare them all the, you may give me those things I'll click on, you know. The things that will relate to people who are older and then, yeah. Okay, any more questions? Yeah.
Pay Facebook to boost a post.
Yes. Oh, thank you. That is something I need to talk about. Okay.
What was the question again?
Question is that do you need to pay Facebook to boost your posts, right? Here's the thing. Is Facebook a business? Yes. Does Facebook need to make money? Yes. So once upon a time, your Facebook fan page, when you have a fan page, when you post something there, it will reach probably about 70% of people that like it. Right now, they have an algorithm that is so low. I can't remember what's the percentage, but it's definitely about 1% or probably 1 or 2%. It's really, really low percentage. So when you post on your Facebook fan page, alright, if you don't manually share and you expect it to grow, I mean, you expect that post to reach the 600 people or 700 people that you like, that's no longer the way right now on Facebook. So for our case and our commercial businesses, we need to actually pay to boost the post so that it reaches the people that we want to meet. Alright, but Facebook is so robust right now that you can actually specify what kind of people you want to target. You know, like in which area, what age. They even know whether the person has how many children. So for instance, right, like our target is we are targeting parents, right? We can target parents of parents with children age what to what. And how do they find out about that? Huh? Huh? No, they don't have time to share pictures. That's why they created this feature whereby you can add your son, your sister, your brother as family members. So the more all the features that are introduced, again back to their business, they want to find out more about you. That is scary, right? So right now, if you actually let Facebook know who is your brother and sister, they can actually know that you have a brother or sister age this. This is what Facebook is doing right now. Why do you think they know your age or your religion and stuff? The more information you give them, the more they know about you, and why they want to know. Why they want to know? Because their ads at the back allow advertisers like us to target specifically even a religion. If you put a religion on Facebook, yeah. So anyway, back to you. In the instances whereby if you do not have finances to boost your posts, right? And again, I wouldn't recommend it when you just started a business, because at the end of the day, like what I said earlier, people seeing your Facebook post doesn't mean people buying your product. Right? So at the starting point, when you have a team of 6 people, then leverage on your resources. Okay? So for instance, like for UniDigest.com, what we do is that we sign up, we join every single SPM group. Every single SPM groups, and we post our tips there and stuff like that, so that people go to UniDigest.com. So it's like join Facebook groups. Alright, and promote your products there. Alright? Any questions? Any more questions? Google. Okay, I'll get to that. Alright. Okay, someone talk about Twitter, right? You, I think, Twitter? Do I need to cover Twitter? Anyone interested to know about Twitter? Depends on target audience. Depends on target audience. One thing that we learned from Twitter basically is a lot of teenagers are on Twitter right now. But let me do a quick survey. How many of you have Twitter account? Here. Okay. One thing that we realized is that if you are targeting teenagers to start a product too, right? Twitter is a good platform. Because more and more young people are on Twitter. And do you know why they're on Twitter? Huh? Sorry, what again? What time louder?
It's true. Because older people, they don't use Twitter as much as Facebook.
Okay, because older people don't use Twitter, or to put it another way around, because just like I mentioned, I'm from education group, right? With international, couple international schools. Our students are going to Twitter because my parents are on Facebook, and I do not want them to know what I'm doing. Alright, so again, boils on to what I shared with you earlier, know your target market. Alright, don't just follow the bus, you know, oh, everyone having Facebook account, Twitter account, let's create Facebook and Twitter and promote our product there. Again, if you're promoting to teenagers, your product, then yes, Twitter is the place. They're running away from Facebook. Based on what I read, like last month or 2 months ago, the average Facebook users right now is, guess? Not so old lah. 40 years old. Average is 40 years old. Facebook that started from Harvard University for actually students, average age right now is 40. The average age of all the Facebook users. Alright? So anyway, back to Twitter. Alright? More and more young people are on Twitter. I'll get to that. Okay, Google and stuff. Twitter. The thing about Twitter is that if you have Twitter account, it's very it takes up a lot of manpower. Alright, the thing about Twitter is it's very hard for you to promote a product because it's only 140 characters. Alright, but Twitter is very good for conversations. So if you know that, okay, linking back to tech business, because that's where my area of strength is, we will find out people who hashtag SPM, people who hashtag SPM guide. The good thing about Twitter is that people hashtag things, sometimes too much. But anyway, you click on that hashtag, you know that people who are talking about that topic, right? So you can immediately reach out to these people. But you can't post something on your Twitter account and these people read it. You can't. The way to reach these people is reply to them. That's Twitter, right? So I say, sorry, what's your name? Sorry? Elon. Alright. Say his account is Elon85. Right? So he's talking about SPM, and by clicking on hashtag, I reach them. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Clicking on hashtag, alright? Okay, so for me to reach out to him, I need to reply to him at 11:85. Hey, I saw you talking about SPM the other day. Check this out. So the thing about Twitter is good because it's specific to people that is talking about certain things. Alright, but it takes up a lot of resources to use Twitter to market. But it's very specific, very simple. Alright, so for example, like, we know our indirect competitor, they're focusing on scholarship, besides universities and courses, right? They're focusing specifically on this scholarship. They're focused specifically on scholarship, helping people get scholarship, and the company providing scholarship is actually paying money to them to recruit people. So their strategy is Twitter. They find hashtag scholarship and reply to people one by one. Hey, I see you asking about scholarship, check this out, check this out, check this out. And then she gets some results from that. Yeah. Okay, so that's Twitter. Okay, what's the question? Instagram, right? Okay. Instagram, again, young people as well. Alright? You, again, back to target audience and the product that you are doing. Instagram is good for, well, I've not heard many people use Instagram for as a main channel to sell the product. Usually it's Facebook, alright? But Instagram, you can use it for things like a clothing line, for example. Those people who sell accessories online, or things to sell clothing online. But the question about Instagram is like, okay, how many of you know how Instagram works? Raise your hand. Have an Instagram account. Question about Instagram is, so how can you get people to follow you? But in the first place, for example, me, right? How would I know your account and come to you? You'll comment on a picture. So then I will actually.
First set up a page.
What page? Instagram page? Okay, and then?
Dedicate our products.
Put your products there again, continue.
Hashtag our product. That's not very good.
But the question is, in the first place, if people do not know your product yet, how can you use Instagram to promote the product? That is the thing. People will go back to Facebook at the end of the day, so why do you start Instagram? I've seen this, you know, and you are spot on. I've seen it in a great Instagram account. Yeah. How do you promote it? Facebook. Why do you have one experience? You are spot on, by the way. Okay, it's true. When you go back to Facebook at the end of the day, right? They create a photo album and go back there. So, okay, Instagram, so basically is for business. Well, right now, my game company, we have Instagram account. So we actually just post on, we don't post, we post on our progress. Okay, this is the character that we're working on. So it's good for people who already know you and want to follow your story. So we constantly post on our progress. But not so much of when you're still new. Yeah. You asked about Google, right? What I would say is, if you basically what does Google is when people search about you, alright, people will find you. Okay, raise your hand if you go to when you Google something, you go to second page. Raise your hand. Second page. You are the rare hardworking ones. People who stop at first page. And let's be it, okay? Raise your hand if you click even the sixth link. Oh, not bad lah, okay. But people will click from within first to fifth link. Okay, so when Google is concerned, alright, what you want is to be on the first page and number one. Alright, and I wouldn't be covering about that today. Alright, but I'll give you what you need to read. It's called SEO, Search Engine Optimization. Alright, it's a really deep topic. Even in UniDigest, we have one person fully focusing on SEO. Alright, there are a lot of things needed. For example, optimization. Alright, and this thing won't be so relevant if you don't have a website. I think it's more making on the website. Basically, it's to give a long story short. What TLDR is it? This is how you guys call it these days. The whole idea is knowing what keywords people will search, and then ranking for that keywords, writing a blog post for that keywords is a long process altogether, and Google always change their algorithm time to time. Yeah. So, but if you are interested, you can search, you can find out more about search engine optimization. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone has any questions? On tech? I'm pretty much done.
How about apps?
What do you mean by apps?
If the one that when you click on some website, you just come up with some small things like
Okay. Oh, ads. Right, I said apps. All right. How many of you click on banners? Did I answer the question?
anything, but should we do that? But for the apps, maybe.
Oh, okay. Let me do one more time here. But more time is not audience. I'll get back to that. I'll give you the things I know. Okay. How many of you look at the ads on the website that you're serving? Advertisement. The banners. All the banners. Raise your hand if you actually look at it. So yeah, one person look at it. Or 2% look at it. 3, 4, 4 people look at it. How many of you click on it? Did I answer your question? But again, this is a younger crowd. Alright? And based on what I know so far is that the older crowd, the working people, they actually look at it and if they're interested, they'll click. Alright? You know the Facebook at the right side? Do you guys even know there's an ad buy at the right side? Okay, okay, anyway, those advertisements on the right, okay, the older crowd actually click on it. The older crowd. Okay, here's the thing. Again, if you guys read about the different generations, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, and the millennial and whatever generation they came up with this is, alright? I just read one actually, talking about Gen Z, and that is from 1995 onwards, the year 1995 onwards, the Gen Z. Alright? When it comes to things in general, can be advertisements, can be articles and all, Gen Z likes the more minimalist approach. Very clean, don't tell me many things, give me straight to the point. Alright? That's why they come up with all the short forms, because they don't like to read the whole thing, but I feel like short form is harder to type. But anyway, so balls and target audience, do research about those different generations, marketing to different generations, and you understand, you find out more about what is the best way to reach out to these people. Alright? And wrap up.
One last question.
Yeah.
When our business has kicked off, we want to develop apps for delivery services. Like McDonald's has it.
Okay. We can look into that when you are successful. Because an app is mainly to help increase your sales for people who already know about it. You do not want to have so many things, and at the end of the day, you're spending time to market your app as well. I've seen that happen.
Then with marketing, you have the brand.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's you need to market as well. Anything quick, you market as well. Alright? Okay. Again, just to close today's session, which relates back to sales and marketing. Alright? Raise your hand if you're interested to join sales and marketing industry. Oh, thanks. My message to you guys is that it's one of the industry that you can't stop learning. Right? It's industry. Actually, in fact, most industry is like sales and marketing, because what happens is that people are getting more and more educated, and when they are more educated, you can find ways. So, for example, you know this thing called clickbait? This guy slapped his girlfriend, and you do not know what happened next. You know those things on Facebook. You guys know what I'm talking about? Those clickbait, you do not know what happened next. There's a lot of those things, right? Those things are called clickbait, where forcing you to click, right? So that so-called method worked for the first few months, but people are more educated and they know how to click about it, and don't bother about it. So the thing about marketing industry, sales marketing industry, whether it's tech or retail, or in between tech, right? People, as time goes by, people are more educated, so you need to be more innovative in your way of promoting things. Alright? With that, I shall end my session. Alright? And thank you so much for asking all the questions and for being